Have you ever just wondered if it's even possible to get a perfect night's sleep? I mean, every single night? Well, today we're going to break down the 10 habits that took entrepreneur Brian Johnson from a lifetime of terrible sleep to getting what might just be a world record in sleep quality. And you know what the best part is? You don't need millions of dollars to do it. Okay, so let's just start with that. That is a huge claim, right? But what it does is it totally sets the stage for a different way of thinking about rest. This isn't just about feeling a little less groggy in the morning. Nope. This is about treating sleep like a skill that you can actually master. And that mastery, well, it all starts with choosing a side. Over here, you've got grind culture. You know, the whole sleep is for the weak idea. The thing that tells you success means sacrificing rest. But over on the other side, you have the professional sleeper mindset. And here, sleep is your number one priority. It's the foundation that makes everything else you do even possible. So that's where we're going to start. Part 1, the mindset. See, this is all about your identity and your intention. Before you even think about changing a single habit, you have to win the game inside your own head. You've got to change how you think about your relationship with sleep. The very first habit, level 1, is all about an identity shift. You have to consciously decide, you know what? I am a professional sleeper. And look, this isn't just some silly label. It is a commitment. It's you promising yourself that you're going to prioritize rest because you know it's the key to feeling better, looking better, and performing better in, well, every part of your life. So, habit number 2 is having a consistent bedtime. The real trick here is how you frame it. This isn't a chore, okay? This is your most important meeting of the day. I mean, think about it. You wouldn't just blow off a critical work meeting, so why would you blow this off? Johnson even talks about how he and his son made a game about it. They literally run to their beds at bedtime. Habit number 3 then builds right on top of that with a specific ritual, the wind-down routine. Johnson has this cool name for it. He calls it Sleep Brian mode. So for about 30 to 60 minutes before bed, you shift personas. This version of you, they don't try to solve tough problems or get into arguments. Nope. Instead, you read, you take a walk, you do something calm to get your mind ready for rest. All right, that brings us to part 2, the routine. Once you get that mindset right, the next step is building a daily rhythm that your body can actually rely on, day in and day out. Now, level 4 is all about when you eat. So Johnson's last meal of the day is at 11 a.m. I know that sounds pretty extreme, but he calls it an invitation to explore. The point isn't that you have to eat at 11 a.m. The real principle here is to just experiment. Try eating your last meal a little earlier and see how it makes you feel. The main goal is just to avoid those big, heavy meals right before you're trying to sleep. Okay, next up is part 3, the environment. This is where we get really tactical. We're going to start engineering our physical surroundings to get rid of any and all obstacles to a perfect night of sleep. Habit number 5 might seem kind of obvious, but the data behind it is just staggering. Avoid stimulants. Yeah, that means caffeine, but it also, and this is crucial, means alcohol. So many of us think a glass of wine helps us wind down, but the truth is it can absolutely destroy your sleep quality. And this number right here, this shows you just how much it costs you. According to Johnson's own data, drinking alcohol later in the day can slash his deep sleep, the most restorative, important stage of sleep, by as much as 80%. That is just a massive, massive impact. Okay, next at level 6, we have to regulate light. This is a whole process, a few steps to protect your body's natural melatonin production. First, use apps on your computer and phone to warm up the screen color at night. Second, if you absolutely have to be on a screen, wear some blue light blocking glasses. Third, make your room pitch black. I'm talking blackout curtains. And ideally, the final step is to just get rid of screens altogether before bed. Level 7 is all about temperature. The key here is what I like to call the Goldilocks principle. Not too hot, not too cold. It has to be just right. But just right for you. And that's going to take some experimenting, right? Maybe it's adjusting the thermostat, changing your blankets, or even using one of those fancy temperature-controlled mattress toppers. Now for our next set of habits in part 4, the sanctuary. This is where we go beyond just our personal habits and start creating actual boundaries to protect our sleep from the chaos of the outside world. So level 8 is about creating a peaceful zone, and a big part of that involves social contracts. This means setting up family rules around sleep, maybe talking to your neighbors about, that barking dog. And this one's a little controversial, but even considering sleeping alone if your partner's tossing and turning is wrecking your rest. The whole point is to proactively get rid of every single potential disturbance. And a huge piece of that sanctuary is making your bedroom a dedicated sleep space. What does that mean? It means no work in bed, no watching movies, no just scrolling on your phone. When you walk into that room, your body should have one and only one powerful psychological connection. This is where I sleep. It literally becomes a trigger for rest. And then, to complete that daily cycle, habit number 9 is getting morning light. As soon as you wake up, you need to send a clear signal to your body that the day has officially started. You can use a bright 10,000 lux lamp like he does, or you can just get outside for some natural sunlight. This is what sets your internal clock and really locks in your wake-up time. And all of that brings us to the capstone, the final level. This is the habit that ties everything else together and lets you truly optimize your sleep. Data. Because, like they say, you just can't improve what you don't measure. So the 10th and final habit is to gather data. Using a tracker isn't about getting obsessed with numbers, okay? It's about building your intuition. It helps you finally connect the dots between your actions like, oh, I ate late last night, or I had that drink, and the actual measurable quality of your sleep. You know, think about it like this. You wouldn't train for a race by just guessing if you're getting any faster, would you? Of course not. You'd use a stopwatch. Sleep is no different. That data from your tracker, that's your stopwatch for improvement. So when you look at all 10 of these levels, the one thing that ties them all together is consistency. These habits have to become non-negotiable parts of your life. And when they're locked in, you might just find that a whole bunch of other problems in your life, from your energy to your mood, they just start to fix themselves. So there you have it. You have the complete playbook. The only question left is, are you ready to stop treating sleep like it's an afterthought and start treating it like the pros do?